Now, our first guest needs very little introduction. A photographer, director and illustrator, Anthony Bila considers himself a conduit for the stories of South Africans, both young and old. His work has been exhibited globally and published in magazines such as the Wall Street Journal, GQ and Elle magazines, just to name a few. Let's have a look at some of his most astonishing work.
Where I'm from, people my age don't have a lot of choices. It's either the light or the dark. If you want to survive, you dala what you must. So I did what I thought was right.
Welcome to the show. So lovely to have you here.
Thank you for having me.
Your work is unbelievable. I can see why so many huge, brands want to work with you, because your work is just so tremendously meaningful. Tell us about the piece that we've just seen and what it meant.
Well, that was actually part of a trilogy I worked on for Brand South Africa, which was quite a daunting feat if you think about it, because it's you representing the country to the world.
Yeah.
And what we had to do is really look at the Constitution and to see how we could translate it into a way young people could understand and could relate to, and also understand the responsibilities that come with the rights of being in the Constitution.
Your brain works in such a beautiful way. I suppose it's like, for you it might seem easy, but for other people, how I can, like the only analogy I can give it is like an interior designer, when they put together a look.
Yeah.
They make it look easy, like what they pair it with. And yet it's something so difficult. So the way you explain stories and build stories, you make it look easy, only you just think, wow, how did this guy think of that? But, I mean, I would love to know how did it all start for you, and what was that creative journey like? Because you were made like a chairperson or director of an ad agency when you were only 17 years old. Yes.
Well, I mean, to be fair, it really started with my parents and them cultivating a desire for knowledge and for information. And I think your mind is just like your body. If you feed it anything, it's going to give you what you put in. So if I'm having really bad fast food every day, I'm going to have a really bad body. But if I'm feeding myself, vegan food since I'm in Cape Town, my body's going to be phenomenal. So they encouraged me to read and to consume information, which is how the storytelling happened. With the junior board of directors, I was actually in high school. I was 16, and they were looking for people to consult them on huge campaigns for blue chip companies, because they understood at least that you have to speak to people in a way that they can understand, and 50-year-old ad execs could not translate that information to a 16-year-old, and so they thought, let's go straight to the horse's mouth.
That's amazing. And what did your work comprise of? Like, did you have to go to work at the ad agency? Or just every now and then have meetings with them?
No, we had board meetings at least once a week, and then we'd get briefs and we'd sit with the CEOs of Standard Bank and Absa and all of these big companies.
Amazing.
And the nice thing about being that young is that you have no qualms or fears about anything. So you'd get in there and tell them, your ads were expletive, expletive, expletive. And they took it for what it was, and they implemented the change, which was a great thing to see.
I think a lot of young people would have been intimidated in that environment. What do you think was about yourself that you didn't get intimidated by it?
I think it's just authenticity. You can only be yourself. And I think as soon as you try to become anyone else, you're going to get tripped up, because you're not going to speak and act the way that you were raised or the way that you are. So my thing was always be, like Shakespeare, I think, said, to thine own self be true. And that's exactly what I did. And if you love it, great. If you don't, keep walking.
How did your name, The Expressionist, come about?
Well, that actually came about through my fashion photography. And I always worked these sets for, Elle magazine and big brands like Adidas and Nike. And I realized human beings are canvases. I would look at these models and think clothes are how we all become artists and dress ourselves and express ourselves. And so the name came about as a nickname because I would work with young people that would reinvent fashion for themselves and express themselves through clothing. And that's something all of us can do.
Exactly. What was your move like? I mean, I suppose it is all linked, but moving from advertising, moving into your visual arts.
Well, I think there's a deep need for entrepreneurs in South Africa. And I just saw an opportunity when I got approached by international brands to do some really big work and bring in young people, and I couldn't do that and have a full-time job. So I decided to take the venture and teach myself about business, and here I am today. So that was a really fortunate jump, but it was also done with an educative background in understanding business.
And when you take that risk to do something that you're really going to be passionate about, it always works out.
It somehow does.
I like to think it does. So I think I was about 17 or 18 years old, and I was cast in a film to play myself, but it was in a Leon Schuster film.
Oh, shucks.
You actually were cast to play yourself in Ayanda. What a great opportunity.
That was amazing. I worked with a really powerful female director called Sarah Blecher, and she approached me out of the blue. I got an email, Anthony, I really love your work. I would really love for you to be in my movie and play yourself. And I thought it was a hoax, or my friends were taking the mickey out of me. And I decided to go to the meeting and expected, you know, April Fools. And she was there, took me through the script. And it was an incredible journey because it was the first South African movie on Netflix. The movie went to Cannes, and it really got a lot of recognition. The hardest thing to do, though, was just to be yourself. Don't do it, kids.
I think it's pretty easy. I absolutely love your work. Thank you so much for being here today and sharing a bit of your life with us.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.